Thank you for joining us today. We're with the New Mexico Association of Commerce and Industry, and we serve as the New Mexico Chamber of Commerce. In this capacity, we represent all business, large and small, all geographic sectors, and all industry sectors.
One of the great things about ACI is the truly grassroots fashion in which we develop our policy priorities. All of our policies come straight from our member businesses, and we work very closely with businesses who are members of ACI through policy committees and other ways, so that when we go to Santa Fe or go to the legislative session and we're advocating for policy priorities, the things we're advocating for come straight from businesses who approach us saying what it would be better to do to help business in New Mexico.
In fact, we actually got other business associations together to say, what are the top priorities for business in this upcoming legislative session? What is it that we need to do to be able to create jobs and retain those that we have? And the number one priority unanimously is right to work.
Today we'll be talking with some ACI members who are community leaders and business leaders here in the state about not only how Right to Work will help their businesses succeed, but how it will help attract other business to the state and grow jobs all throughout New Mexico.
Joining us now is Paul DiPaola. Paul is the chair of ACI's Council of Chairs. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. Why don't you talk a little bit about what concerns you right now about our state?
Well, what concerns me is I've lived in New Mexico since the 1960s, and I'm concerned about, I want to live and work around my kids and my grandkids, and there's just not the opportunities to find good work for our kids. Our state graduates graduate and then they have to leave the state.
You know, ACI, Association of Commerce and Industry, you've been involved for a long time. Why do you think we should be involved in this issue?
Well, this is an important issue for the state, and ACI, like a lot of other things, ACI is not about any political party. It's really about supporting and fostering sound policy backed by facts wherever possible. And that enables us as a state to avoid the consequences of bad legislation.
Joining us now is Minda McGonagle with the National Federation of Independent Business. Minda, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about NFIB and what the organization is?
NFIB represents small businesses across the state of New Mexico. We're talking about businesses from 1 to maybe several hundred. That's in the minority. But generally, we cover the broad spectrum from Main Street and to businesses that serve larger businesses and other entities.
You know, for a viewer watching us today, they may wonder, why would a small business care about an issue like right to work?
Small businesses do business with larger businesses, and we do business with the employees of larger businesses. If we're going to be successful, if we're going to survive, we have to have a vibrant, robust, and diverse economy. And to do that means we need people to do business with.
Viewers are probably watching and thinking, how can I help with this issue? What can they do to help us during the legislative session?
What small businesses can do is contact their legislator. Give them a call, send an email, have a cup of coffee. 5 minutes of your time will be a game changer for them because they will have heard from you about what is needed.
And if you don't know who your elected representative is or your elected senator, look at the New Mexico Legislative website, nmlegis.gov. There's a link there. You can put in your zip code. Not only will it give you the name of your elected officials, but it'll also give you their contact information. Joining us now is Ray Smith, president of Klinger Constructors. Ray, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
You know, Ray, we're talking about right to work. Could you just give us your opinion why this is such an important thing for New Mexico?
It's really important because it checks a box. It allows the site selection people to say, we're right to work, and they can bring jobs here. Right now, 50% of the companies that might expand or bring new jobs to New Mexico won't even consider the state because we're not right to work.
You know, one of the things we hear is that states that are right to work have lower wages, or at least that's what the opposition says. What do you know about that?
Absolutely not true. I've actually done a lot of research on this subject, and states that have right to work have higher payrolls and higher wages.
Well, and one thing that we're hearing as well, and I know in your day-to-day business you work a lot with unions, is that this is an anti-union bill.
It's not an anti-union bill. This is actually a pro-jobs bill. That's all it is. It costs nothing, and it'll bring more private sector union jobs and private sector merit shop jobs, period. If the pie grows, everybody's piece of that pie grows. And we need to start thinking about this in terms of that same visual. If there are more union jobs, there'll be more private sector jobs for both sides.
Well, and I think it's a great point that right to work will help us diversify our economy, and in doing that and growing jobs, it really helps all of us. Thanks again, Ray, for joining us about this important topic.
My pleasure. Thank you.